Hello everyone! I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate the support. In this one, I wanted to speak to you about rejection and self-identity, or rejection in terms of projects and identity. Recently, as you might know, I've started an online publication on Medium related to rage against the patriarchy, and it has a lot of feminist articles on it related to female pleasure and how a lot of different things related to white privilege or the Black Lives Matter, things like that. And so I'm really excited about it. I was really excited and I am still really excited about it. And so I put it out there to a bunch of my friends who I know are feminists and who are always talking about these subject matters and who put themselves out there on all the social media channels constantly talking about these particular things. I assumed maybe that they might be interested in it, maybe not, but I still put myself out there because that's what I do. You always got to ask. If they say no, no skin off your back. And so, I did ask a couple of people, and one of them actually called me. She's like, can we have a conversation? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. And she's like, I'm really upset about this because I don't want to do this. Like, I don't really, I'm not comfortable writing in this manner, but I don't know how to say that to you because I'm afraid that you're going to be upset and you're going to feel rejected if I reject your offer of writing on your project, for your project. And it was kind of interesting because in my head, instantaneously, I was like, whoa, how did you make that leap? How did you make the leap that if you rejected my project or my book or anything that I'm doing, that you rejected me? And I think the idea in there comes from the fact that we have been born and brought up to believe that we are our work. Our identity is associated with our work. Our identity is associated with our job. Our identity is associated with our profession or what we do with our time. So for example, people assume that because I'm a writer, then my identity is associated with my writing. Or because I've created this online publication, then my identity is associated with that online publication. So if you reject my online publication, you basically rejected me, which is absolutely false. Because as I've told you many times before, my writing is very precious to me. I love my writing. I love my writing time. I love all the writing that I do. It makes me happy. It's my creative work. It's my passion. But it is not me. There are many facets to me, as there are to you, right? As there are to the person who was messaging me. She's not just a daughter of her parents. She's not just a worker of the government. She's not just a dog owner or a dog lover. She's not just a writer. She's not just a feminist. She's not just any of those things. In fact, actually, these are all masks and roles that we play. And so if you actually look deep down enough, you're like, well, there's nothing there. There's no roles at all. There's no mask, nothing at all. I just am, right? And that's why a lot of people are like, I am, right? There's no other roles associated with it. But right now, in this moment in time, I'm standing here and I am a YouTuber, right? I'm doing these videos for you, and in this moment in time, I'm a YouTuber. But if you rejected my YouTube video, if you rejected this video, or you rejected my channel, or you rejected any of this other stuff that I do, it doesn't mean automatically that I assume that you hate me, or that I hate you, or that we should completely not be friends anymore, or we should just stop talking to each other. There is no way in hell. In fact, a lot of times people actually don't even know that I do YouTube videos. A lot of times they don't even know that I'm a writer. They don't even know who I am, what I do with my time. And it's fine because we're still friends and we're still associated with each other and we still are related to each other and we still speak to each other, right? And so it's kind of really fascinating to me because this person was literally, she was not fearful, but apprehensive. Yes, that's the right word. She was apprehensive that me rejecting her rejecting my offer to write for my publication would mean that we wouldn't be friends anymore. Or there would be a little bit of a glitch in our friendship, that our friendship would be somehow convoluted or affected by this rejection. And it was really important to me to get that idea in my head, or that lesson, because I realized that there are people who think that way. And so I'm always now thinking, all right, so I have to make sure that when I ask someone to do something for me, or when I ask someone to contribute something to my blog or contribute something to my publication or whatever it might be, if they say no, They're allowed to say no. In fact, it's absolutely okay if they say no. In fact, I welcome it if they're completely uncomfortable with it or even a smidgen uncomfortable with it. They're more than welcome to say, no, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. Get away from me with this idea. I don't want to do it, right? And it's absolutely okay because a rejection of my project is not a rejection of me. And that kind of identity that's being associated with work, our identity being associated with the things that we do, is so prevalent in society right now, right? And it took me a long time, and even now sometimes I have moments where someone will say something about my writing and I'm like, oh no, that actually hurt. That actually was painful because it hurt my ego. It hurt my identity. It hurt my entire worldview and structure of the way I look at the world. And it was painful, right? And as soon as it's painful, when someone rejects your projects or your work, that your identity is associated with it. Because it wouldn't be painful otherwise. If you didn't really associate your identity with it, you wouldn't be painfully hurt by it. You'd be like, well, yeah, that's not very, I guess it's not very nice to hear, but you wouldn't be upset by it. You wouldn't be emotionally attached to it. You wouldn't be completely devastated by it, which is what happens to some people. I've noticed that, and I know I used to be like that in the past as well, where if someone rejected my work, if someone rejected even a bit of my writing, I would be completely lost. I would be completely on the ground, shivering and shaking and crying, right? And so, again, this is something that we need to kind of watch in ourselves. It's something that we need to observe, not only within ourselves, but in the people around us as well. What is your identity associated with? And how, if it is associated right now in this moment in time, how can you little by little unassociate it, like untangle it, right? Remove it slowly. It's like, you know, when you have headphones and the wired headphones and you leave them and you're kind of playing with them and all of a sudden they're all tangled up in each other and you're like, oh gosh, this is going to take a while for me to untangle. You're sitting there and you're untangling it. It takes time and patience, a lot of patience, and little by little, eventually it is untangled. It is all back to normal. The same way we have to disentangle our identity, our persona, that we are our work, that we are what we do. Slowly but surely we have to untangle it. It's extremely important because what happens, and I've noticed this in my father, who just retired as well, is that as soon as he retired, it's as if he had no identity anymore. He became a hollow shell of a person. And I mean, little by little, he's rebuilding it. But I noticed how much it affected him because literally all of his identity was around and ingrained into his work. As soon as that work disappeared, which it does for everyone, everyone will retire at some point in time, unless you're self-employed like me, then maybe you won't. But everyone's going to kind of give up their job at some point in time. What happens then? Once you're retired, what is your identity going to be associated with then? Is it going to be associated with still with your job and you're not able to get over yourself and you're going to be completely hollow and empty because you have nothing to associate yourself with? Or will you be able to move on, be like, all right, my work is not me, my job is not me, it's not who I am, it's something that I do to make money, or I do to pass the time, or I do to because it's interesting to me, right? And that's it, that's all it is. And a lot of times I have to kind of remind myself in my roles as well that I love doing videos, but it is something that I do, it's not me. I love writing, absolutely adore it, but it's not me. I am a writer, but that's not my complete identity. If I couldn't write anymore, it would be painful. It would be extremely painful, but I'd get over it because there's other things I'm doing, right? There's many other things that I'm doing. And that's why I like to kind of keep my identity associated with many different things, because if one thing does disappear, then it's okay. I noticed this for myself when I had a couple of videos rejected by YouTube. I noticed this happened a few months ago, and I'm sure you guys were there, or you people were there as well, where every single day I'd get up and my YouTube video was rejected by Google or by YouTube or whoever, like the administration. They would be like, nope, this video is not good enough, it has racist comments or it has derogatory comments, rejected. And I wake up another day and was rejected again. 3 times this happened in a row, and I was like, oh no. At that point I had to really be like, all right, what if I could never do YouTube videos again? What will I do then? Well, is this okay? And I really had to reconcile myself, be like, yeah, actually, you know what? I love doing them. I'll still post them on some other platform if possible, because I love doing videos. But if I couldn't be a YouTuber anymore, it would be okay. It's something that I do, but it's not something that I am. Right? It's just one part of my identity. But again, this happens because I'm constantly thinking about it. And so that's why I'm kind of imploring you to actually think about it as well. Is your identity associated with your job or your work or what you do? Because it's very important to disentangle it. Because if that item disappears, now what are you going to be? Who are you going to be? Are you going to be completely empty and lost? Or are you going to still have something else to fall back upon? Are you still going to be something? Because it doesn't mean that if you're not your job, that you're nothing, right? But that's the idea that a lot of people have, is that if they don't work, they are nothing. They're meaningless. They're a waste of space. They are emptiness itself, right? Which is not true. I hope this makes sense. If you have questions about this, obviously comment below and I shall do a follow-up video. But I think this is pretty straightforward. Again, thank you for all the questions that you've been asking. I really do appreciate it. And please keep them coming, because I do want to do videos based on what the questions are going to be, not just what I'm thinking about in my own head. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.